It's very informal. Oh, hi. This is Charlotte Pierce. I'm the producer of Ready Row USA, and you're right in the middle of ROWAPALOOZA, which is our celebration of 3 years and 100 episodes. So this is our 106th episode, actually. I've got Fabio Selvig of Resolute and Sykes with me, and Ali Abrams of JLRacing. And they'll be back after I give my little intro to talk about some of the day in the life of their work at JL and Resolute. So let me just go through my little intro here. It always helps to have someone else running this, but I'm doing it today, so I'm going to do my best. At Ready Row USA, we have seen firsthand that rowing changes lives, and we are on a mission to connect and collaborate with the rowing community. People like Fabio and Ali, boathouses, masters, beginners, Olympic legends, vendors, and hopefully you. We love rowing. We love talking about rowing, advocating for inclusion and diversity in the sport, and hanging out with rowers like I did with Fabio at the head of the Charles. That was fun. And thank you for storing my boat as well, Fabio.
My pleasure. It was an honor.
Yeah, that was really nice. It's really nice to have a place to put your boat at the head of the Charles. Anyway, one thing we've done is we have a new website, readyrowusa.com. So no dashes, no dots, no nothing. And everything that you will hear today will be there, and we'll have a special page for all the giveaways and discounts that our ROWAPALOOZA guests have pledged. So there's some really great stuff and swag and fun things that you can put on your refrigerator. Stuff. Anyway, this is our new website, so please visit, and please, give us your name and email address, and we'll keep you posted about new developments and episodes, and we'd love to hear from you. So chime in on any of our social media platforms. Nothing gives us greater pleasure than seeing that little notification dot on Instagram or Twitter. And I got one today from Ali and Fabio, so thank you. But our audience gets personal attention to questions, comments, and episode suggestions. And most important, or very important, our sponsors and collaborators receive value that far exceeds their investment. So if you're considering a sponsorship, contact me. So please join us on one of these live streams. This is a live streaming show right now. And then you can catch the replay on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. And join the conversation. Just post some questions for our guests. And so Resolute and Sykes are one of our original sponsors this year, in our first year in our own distributor ship. And so we thank them very much. The product for the U.S. market from Sykes covers the entire gamut of rowing shells. I have one called 135, and they have the $3,900 initiator shell and world-class boats like the 457 fours and quads, fast, affordable boats for your program. They're available in Kevlar as well as carbon construction. They've won Olympic and World Championship medals, and they're available in the USA right out of Bristol, Rhode Island, where we are going to be doing a tour with some of the folks from CRI soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ali, maybe you can join us down there.
I know. It's always fun to see the factories and how everything operates, which I know we'll talk about on this podcast, but that sounds like a lot of fun.
I love makers, and that's what the title of this session is. You know, it's about, the people that just get down and make the stuff that we use in our daily, and we really need it. I mean, like, I'll talk to you a little bit later about unis, but I'm headed there, Ali. So Sykes and Resolute, thank you, Fabio, for sponsoring. And Burnham Boat is also a sponsor of ours, and they're one of my favorite companies. Just the customer service is just out of this world. Good Inklings is our web designer. Laura Williams is amazing. If you need a website, she can probably do one for a few $100s. And up from there, I'm sure. But she's a really amazing web designer. So thank you, Laura. And let's get into Fabio. There's a picture of a boat that is several years old, I think, and still winning races, right? Is that a Resolute?
That's a Resolute, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So, first boat we ever made was the Black Z1. And the original, when they first filed the patent for the boats, because it was so different, they named it Project Z because they didn't want people to know what they were doing.
I wondered what the Z was all about. I mean, I get the kangaroo on the Sykes.
Yeah. So the Z is Project Z. They didn't really know what to call it, and they went with Project Z. And the original Black Z1 is still racing today and winning races. And it was made in 1995.
Wow.
They're bomb-proof boats. Yeah. Wow. Remarkable.
Cool. Yeah. So what is a day in the life of Fabio Selvig when you get up and you have your quad espresso? Do you head to the factory, or do you sure, it depends on the day, but
yeah, it does depend on the day. Right now we're pretty well stuffed with orders. So I like to go down to the factory and check in, make sure everybody's flowing properly and that things are getting pushed out on time. So we have a team meeting around 10 o'clock. The people get there at 7. We usually meet at 10, go through the day and what we need to build and what needs to happen. And make sure we have all the parts. And we're very focused on lean manufacturing, so we tend to not have a lot of things in stock waiting to be put into boats. We tend to order just-in-time delivery. So we need to. It takes a little fine-tuning, but it helps in the long run. It keeps costs down. We've actually been able to reduce our prices.
So all these regattas that you travel around to, that's where you take the orders and then you go and build them.
Yes, right. And we get a lot of orders just phoned in and emailed in as well. I think having a face at a regatta is nice also because if something breaks, you're there with a spare part in hand.
I saw you and Scott what's his name? The guy?
Pat Scott.
Pat
Scott.
Pat Scott. Yeah. You were literally working on boats all the time. Every time I saw you. Once in a while, handing out a few business cards, but yeah, that was cool.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
Have to do that. Take care of the customer.
So
fun.
You go and what do you do as your title at the Resolute and Sykes is what?
So I am the director of sales and marketing for Resolute and Sykes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've been there about 8 months now, and the pace keeps picking up. It's phenomenal. We've been very welcomed. We're tapping the right people on the right shoulders. We're forging great relationships with great people who are helping us, much like yourself, Charlotte. And we're getting product out where we haven't normally seen it, which is a really good thing. So we're growing and going in the right directions with it all. It's exciting.
How did the Sykes relationship come about?
So Sykes purchased Resolute in 2019.
Oh, I see. Didn't know they actually owned them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do. They do. 2 gentlemen, Jeff Lawrence and Mark Knopfnagel, bought the company. They were the owners of Sykes, and they saw an opportunity with Resolute having such a great brand identity and such a well-regarded product. They thought, well, we could do 2 things with it. We could continue to build Resolute boats, but we could also use their footprint as a distribution and sales point for the Sykes product that we really want to get into the U.S. market a little more.
And what is the difference if I were buying a single, say, or I don't know, let's say I'm buying an 8 for a club? What's the difference between a Sykes and a Resolute?
Well, the Sykes is going to ship over from Australia. It's going to be made over there in the factory in Geelong, right outside of Melbourne. And they've been making them since 1966. So they know what they're doing. It's a great product. The Resolute product started in 1995, and they have a very different construction method and a very different sort of design philosophy. The way the boats are designed to move through the water is very different. And the way we build them is very different. So we use unidirectional pre-preg carbon fiber, which already has the epoxy in the material. And it doesn't start to harden until you really put it into an oven where it bakes, it releases all the epoxy, and then you let it cool off over time and it hardens. So a pre-peg boat that we actually cook 3 times is what makes Resolute so different. That's why they're so stiff. You can literally drop a 45-pound plate on a Resolute ball.
Wow.
Yeah.
My
bomb-proof.
My 135 Sykes seems pretty sturdy too. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, very well made.
Yeah. So Ali, tell us about a day in the life of Ali Abrams.
Yeah.
And a little bit about how you got to where you are at JL.
Yeah. So I started at JL in 2017 after coaching for many years at the collegiate level. I've spent time as a sales rep and then moved up to be the director of sales, basically Fabio at JLRacing. And day in a life for us is just working with our customers, getting art requests in and working with our art team to make sure that they're getting the design set up that our teams want to see, helping get orders processed and kind of overseeing them through production and working on timeline and stuff, just so our teams can get the gear that they want, that they love to have, and get it to them in time for whatever race they have coming up.
Right. And you manufacture everything in El Salvador, or
everything that we do manufacture is in El Salvador. We also have a lot of products that we refer to as ASI, like the hats and t-shirts and hoodies. That's just more casual wear. That's all processed in our California office.
Right.
Yep.
And I love these. Is this a uni? Yeah, that's a uni on the right.
Yeah.
I've never had one.
I've never had one.
No, but I want one.
We'll have to hook you up.
I think they're free speed too, right? Like the Sykes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we obviously take a lot of pride in our unisuits, but we want to make sure that our athletes feel powerful and strong when they put something on and not uncomfortable or itchy or whatnot. You don't want your unisuit to distract you from your rowing. So we want to make sure that our teams are comfortable in it, that has good stretch. And then for the design, I think that's the biggest emotional connection that teams have to their gear, because a lot of our teams can design their own gear and say they want this element, that element, what have you. And then when they finally receive that product, I think it's just that added level of excitement to wear it and then get out on the race course and sport it around.
Right. And have you had any challenges in this relationship of manufacturing in El Salvador, or switching that? And I know that there were some rough spots, but has that pretty much
that's all in the past. I mean, transitioning manufacturing isn't easy for any business. So yeah, we had those instances back in 2019, but that is way far behind us. We are on a consistent track now, which was the main reason we wanted to move into this facility, is just better resources that allow for higher capacity and better consistency. Same as what Fabio mentioned, we run all of our orders as they come in, so we don't keep anything in stock. And this facility does an excellent job of just being able to take them, process them, and get them out on a consistent basis, which has really helped us with where we stand and where we want to be.
Have you had any trouble with the supply chain, either of you? You could answer that in turn if you'd like. Just for getting supplies and things like that.
Yeah, for us in our manufacturing, no, but the ASI garments that I mentioned earlier that come from different suppliers, those have had a big hit in the pandemic. We've just seen like head sweats, hats, or just a basic tri-blend or cotton t-shirt that everyone's trying to get for their event or what have you. It's been pretty crazy to see. But as far as our unisuit and custom garment manufacturing, we haven't been affected at all.
That's awesome. Do you have to go down there quite often, or?
So I moved into this role right before the pandemic hit. I think the plan was that I'd be going down there, but I think with travel restrictions and we're keeping our staff limited as is, just so the only people who go in are those who need to be in. So once this all clears up, I'm sure I'll be going down there.
Yeah, could score some good coffee too.
Yes, very good coffee.
Fabio,
nice.
Fabio, how are you guys doing in terms of getting the Sykes boats delivered and getting materials for the Resolute?
Yeah, so we're pretty lucky. Most of the manufacturing, all the manufacturing for the Sykes boats is happening in Asia, and we source a lot of stuff directly from there. Or excuse me, is happening in Australia, and we source a lot of our product from Asia, which is relatively nearby.
Yes.
For the Resolute side, almost everything we source, because Bristol, Rhode Island is a big yachting yachting manufacturing hub, we source, I'd say, about 85% of our stuff within 2 miles of our factory. So we've been really lucky with that. They do have product on hand, which is great. And if we need something made, we have found people who have been able to make it for us within a quarter mile of our factory. So we've been very lucky.
That's awesome, because I've heard stories from vendors and manufacturers that they're thinking, there's a lot of delays and certain like resins that they can't get, and should they be raising prices and things like that. I mean, have you had a experience with being faced with raising prices? Or?
Yes. Shipping costs are going up. I think material costs are going up. Things are getting harder to find. So I think there will be some slight price increases. Matter of fact, on the Resolute side, we're going to have a price increase starting Jan 1. So place your orders now, folks. And but the only delay we've really had to date has been a container coming in supposed to arrive 2 weeks before the Head of the Charles. It arrived about a week after Head of the Charles, which
bummer.
Of course posed some logistical issues for us. But the boats made it here. We just had to scramble and follow through on our promise to deliver them.
Yeah.
So we had to do that. But otherwise, we've been okay.
Cool. Yeah. Any other thoughts on that, Ali?
No, just reiterating the shipping prices. We've been watching that. I don't think we have a formalized plan to raise prices on anything, but we have kept an eye on what shipping companies are doing and how that might affect us in the long term.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you look at the price of a container, to ship a container, it used to be, X amount, and now it's 3X in some instances. So you're going to see price increases, I think, across the board, not just in our little microcosm that is rowing, but I think on a global scale, it's going to affect everything.
Yeah. So thankfully, we don't have to use containers, but I can imagine with containment shipping and finding drivers to move it out of port, it's just you see it on the news, and it's very real.
Yeah, well, some companies have been buying or like leasing a ship or buying their own containers, or I mean, that's more like Walmart, I guess, but yeah. So, and let me just ask you, is this a picture of Maurice Scott?
Yes, it is.
I thought so. He's the coolest guy.
He really is. He's one of our JL ambassadors, and
I was wondering,
absolutely love having him be a part of our community and work with us. He helped us design our Black History Month unisuits last year, which I'm hoping we're doing again this year. But he's just such a great advocate for the sport, so we're so happy to work with him.
Yeah, he said he and his dad worked on the design, I think. Yeah. I follow him around social media, and he's just like so fun. He's so authentic.
He really is, yeah.
Yeah, he's always, doesn't just talk about diversity. He talks about rowing. He's really a good ambassador. Tell me a little bit about the ambassador program, and maybe Fabio, you can say after this, if there's anything that you've got going that is a similar type of program.
Sure.
Yeah. So we've run our ambassador program for several years now. I think that the application period for 2022 has closed, but we have this community of ambassadors that get access to discounted and specialized gear. In turn, they promote the JL brand. They wear our unisuits or tech shirts and everything and post it on social media. So it's kind of a symbiotic relationship. And we are actually opening it up to do direct sponsorship of athletes, specifically collegiate athletes, now that the NCAA has lightened the name, image, likeness rules. But we'd love to just connect with the athletes. We have several ambassadors like Maurice that really help promote our brand and help us design and keep our retail products in tune with what the community is looking for. And we hope to extend that to athletes who are trying to make a national team or just be a bigger role in the rowing community with that new sponsorship that we just launched.
And would you have people like, I know Cece Aguda is a JL ambassador, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I met her at the head of the Charles. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
to see,
she's a lot of fun.
I've connected with her many times on social media, but she's just like, but she's an older not old, but she's not like Maurice is probably 30 or something, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, our ambassadors range in a variety of ages and rowing levels. So we don't limit it to certain programs or whatnot. I think the application process is pretty open. And we have some international ambassadors as well. And what we started doing back in 2019 is opening up spots to race ambassador boats at the head of the Charles. It fell through in 2020 because HOCR didn't happen. And then 2021, we had to pull the plug because still pandemic issues. But we look to have our ambassadors racing again at more races than just the head of the Charles. But it's a great community. And I think it's great for us to have the ambassador program just to stay in the community. And yeah,
it raises your visibility. I know just from my personal perspective, I've known several of them, and it raises your visibility and it gives you a very authentic representation out there in the rowing world. So I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Fabio, anything like that in the works as sales and marketing and Resolute?
Yeah, it's actually it's going to be pretty similar to what Ali's doing at JL. We're trying to get people who really, first of all, I think you have to be authentic. I think that's the word you use, Charlotte. And I think people have to love the product and truly believe it, not just be there to, I'm getting a free boat from these guys, because I think if you really live it and breathe it, that comes through that much more. And you want people to be genuinely enthusiastic about what the partnership is about. Yeah. Versus having it be sort of I got this from these guys, and I'll use it for a year and we'll see where it goes. So when we find people like that and they're contributing to the sport, whether it's performance at the elite level or helping build a boathouse or helping create more community in perhaps an underserved community or in a different community, that's always appealing to us, because ultimately it's about growing the sport and getting more people into this. Yeah. So if we can do that, we talk.
Yeah, well, as one of your media partners, I'd love to help you
for that.
Build that out. I row a Sykes. It's on top of my car. So I guess I'm an ambassador. I think it's a great boat. I love it.
And thank you.
Yeah,
and that's what made it work for us. So, sorry. Go ahead, please. I was saying that's what made it work for us was the fact that you were genuinely like you tried different boats and you kept like this one felt right and it moved the way I wanted it to, and that's what made it appealing for us. Yeah, like I could give a boat to pretty much anybody, but I want to give it to someone who's excited to be in it.
Yeah, and your care with the just the relationship was amazing, which is one reason why you're in the Customer Service Hall of Fame as well, which we'll be fleshing that out and announcing it more in January. But just leaving boats at CRI for me to try, and making sure I had all the gear. That was just the follow through was tremendous. I really appreciate it. Well,
thank you. It was fun. Yeah. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. on, let's get more boats. I want more boats. I want 1 foot in each boat. Like
there you go. Ali, we'll hook you up too. We'll get you in a boat.
I'm down.
I was a little story about that. I was washing it at CRI right behind me there on that side. And the guy from Hydro, Mike Dostal, he's an English guy. He was on the national team, I think. But he looked at it, he said, "Is that a Sykes?" I rode those when I was first rowing in England or something. I think he said it was England. And so you say, yeah, it's a good boat. So that's a good little story, the CRI, just getting to know the brand. We're getting toward the end of our session. Is there anything that you'd like to ask each other, or anything that I've missed in terms of the manufacturing side of rowing that rowers should know about?
Take it away, Ali.
No, I think you covered a lot. No, I really appreciate you bringing us on and letting us talk about kind of our side of the rowing community. I think for any rower, coach, or coxswain out there, getting your gear, getting your equipment is certainly an exciting time. It gives you a sense of belonging with your team, and we are honored to be a part of that with all of our teams and organizations that we work with. And we are all about growing the sport of rowing and reaching out to any nooks and crannies in the rowing community that we can, because it's such a great community to be a part of, and we just want to see it continue to grow.
Yeah, well, let's stay in touch, and wherever we can collaborate to get the word out about what you're doing, just please let us know, and we'll support each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. We have a lot more to cover, I think, so we'll have to be having you back, and please send me topic ideas, guests that you think would be good. And Fabio, when you launch your ambassador program or whatever form it takes, let's get the word out on that.
Let's do it, Charlotte. You'll be the first to know.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. I've got a few things to say, and then I have one thing at the end I'm going to ask our guests. But this is one of my routes. I use a Garmin watch, and this is my route on the Charles River with that map there. But
quite a workout.
Yeah, it's a 15K.
Nice.
Yeah, 75 down and 75 back to CRI. But we have an episode hashtag, which is the same every time, actually. Ready Row USA, no spaces. We'd love to have you subscribe and review us on your podcast app or YouTube. We're still building up our subscriber base, and we would very much appreciate that. You can win gadgets, gear, and services from these good folks and many of our guests on the podcast. If you use the hashtag, we'll stalk you on social media and find you and give you something. Yeah, I love giving stuff away. It's just so much fun. Tomorrow, we have our last ROWAPALOOZA celebration podcast live stream with Nick Karwoski of Hydro, and Tag Along is his training program. Marnie Schroer is a friend of mine, a master's rower from Spokane River Rowing Association. And Blake Gorley, one of my favorite rowing media, Science of Rowing, and he has a training program as well. So they're going to be talking about row for your life, so lifetime fitness in your pursuit of rowing and dealing with injuries and all that good stuff too. But so we've had 6. This is our 6th episode with Ali and Fabio. We started out on December 3rd with building community. Then that's great group of folks from some of my favorite organizations, Head of the Charles, Rowing the World, and Rowing Industry Trade Association. We had Jim Dietz and Mark Wilson and Akil Abdullah on to talk about great rowing clubs and what they do right, what their challenges are. we had rowing careers with Tom Siddall and Ryan Worth on the 14th of December. And we had a customer service hall of fame. So that's a wonderful way that we cooked up to just express our appreciation and give back to these companies that, clearly have good customer service baked into their corporate culture, company culture. Fearless Change was yesterday. That was amazing. Matt Zatorsky of Seattle Scullers, long-term rower development, and then William Goldenheim, who's starting a new club up in Lynn, Massachusetts, near us. It's just, it's all about access and giving access to rowing to a community that really hasn't had much opportunity to get the benefits of the sport. And they're also doing things, other maritime sports, so like kayaking and paddleboarding. And so it's a great effort. A lot of work to start a club, I think. The Makers of Rowing, that's today. You guys were great. Thank you so much. And one thing I would like to wrap up with, I try and ask kind of a funny or interesting question. What is your favorite super cheap rowing gadget that you've seen help people or yourself?
For me, it would have to be go ahead, Ali, excuse me.
Sorry. No, when I was coxing, I took a PVC pipe and I cut a slit in it so I could loosen wing nuts of foot stretchers and everything that's deep down in a hole that I couldn't get my hand down. Super cheap because you just need a PVC pipe, and I cut the slit myself, and that was a game changer. All the other tools are helpful, but that one was a big one for me.
It's those little things. Yep. I'm trying to get some of those self loosening, self-tightening bolts from Fabio.
Yeah.
The ones with the little wing.
Maybe as your ambassador package.
Yeah,
there you go.
Ambassador package.
Full sponsorship. They're in the mail, Charlotte. They're in the mail.
Okay.
So listen, I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for a good 10 and 13 millimeter open-ended wrench. So you can get your riggers on the boat, and then you can do your pin pretty easily. Yeah, that's a good one. They're hard to find, but when you have one, you got to hold on to it.
Yeah,
I need
don't let the coxswain steal them.
That's right.
They at CRI, they must just order those by the bucket load. Just truckload.
They're great.
Yeah,
you see them just lying about here and there. But so I just wanted to thank you both for this amazing discussion. Let's do it again, because there's more to be said. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Upcoming in 2022, we have lots of great coverage. I'm going to try and focus a little bit more on access and inclusion, and talk about rowing for recovery of all sorts, addiction, breast cancer, things like that. We're going to be doing a regular thing with the Rowing Industry Trade Association. We're going to geek out with the athletic tech and do a whole bunch of good stuff like that. Once again,
excellent.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm going to plan better. You guys were troopers for coming in at basically the last minute when I decided to do this celebration. But thank you. Yeah, it's fun. I like to have a little informal. We do have a rowing club news form on our website, so please let us know what's going on with your club, and we will just we'll put a pop-up podcast together and give your news. We love to do that. Gadgets and gear. You heard what Fabio and Ali like, and that will do it for now. And we will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific, for Row for Your Life. So thank you so much, Fabio.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Yeah, this was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.